I feel greatly honored to address this international symposium, which has attracted respected administrators, scholars, planners, and students who are concerned with the status of wood in our planet. When I was requested by the International Wood Culture Society just before the Christmas season to deliver this address on this day, I agreed to do so without any conditions. I did so because wood has a special cultural significance in the development of visual arts in Africa in general, and Tanzania in particular, as this paper has been designed to discuss. The visual arts in Tanzania begins with the Stone Age man who left a record of his life on rock cliffs and caves that can be seen even today. In areas such as Mbulu, the central part of Tanzania, Kondoa, Singida, Iramba, and on the southern shores of Lake Victoria. The paintings he left behind have endured the harsh tropical weather for over 40,000 years. That's what we're told by some world archaeologists. These colors were produced 40,000 years ago. They're still there. The drawings are still there. The paintings he left behind have endured the tropical harsh thing. The wood now. Let us come to the wood. The wood he used to extract his weatherproof colors is known by the local inhabitants today by such names as Mninga, Mkungumwitu, or Mvule Dume. Now, had it not been for the availability and accessibility of the glorious wood, which I haven't seen, but which some of my students have brought to me, had it not been for the availability and accessibility of this gracious wood, there would have been no record of prehistoric art in Tanzania today. So my emphasis is on that wood and the historical development of visual arts in this country. The visual arts in this country started much earlier than those of Europe, and some of you know that. The binding medium for the colors, some of you would like to know, was the urine of a very small animal, a small animal resembling a rabbit that is commonly found on rock environments. This little animal has a habit of urinating at one place. Some of the places had shallow depressions where the urine was easily collected by the Stone Age artists. At night, when it was cold, the urine would freeze due to low temperatures, and during the warm day, it would turn to its liquid form. That was the binding medium. The inhabitants of those rock painting areas, especially in Kondoa, still use the urine today for medicinal purposes as a lotion to relieve pain. This is the distribution of rock art in East Africa. Now you can see that central part of Tanzania the central part of Tanzania, Kondoa, Singida, has an area of about 200 square miles full of rock art. And the wood that was used to provide the color is still there. This is the earliest settlement of the Stone Age person. The HGE, hunter and gatherers early, and we can't find this person in Kenya or Uganda or in Ethiopia. It's only the central part of Tanzania where that wood was available. And see that glorious thing over there? There were 4 major communities that were engaged in the practice of visual arts. There were hunters and gatherers, early, hunters and gatherers, late, farmers and mixed economy. Interestingly enough, some present hunters and gatherers communities, such as the Azabe of Lake Eyasi area, still practice rock painting using the colors from the wood that their ancestors had been using in the prehistoric period. This is a very famous rock painting. It is found in Kondoa. It is still there, up on the hills. We call it the abduction scene. There's a woman in the middle. On my left, there are people with masks. On my right, there are people without masks. No, this is a practice that is still being respected in most African communities. When your sister gets married, if you don't give a present to the groom's side, the brothers always wait for you at the door. You can't enter that door because you have taken our sister. You have given us no present. So we want our sister back. That's the implication. It's a very old custom that is being practiced. But nowadays people pay cash to brothers of the bride groom. The colors, as you can see, are still fresh, and we were told that it's this special wood that provided these colors which we see today. Now, we see therefore that the whole history of rock painting in Eastern and Southern Africa is very much linked to the wood that provided the paint. Central Tanzania alone has rock art that covers 200 square miles with about 500 decorated rock shelters that have been recorded. According to some scholars, such as Professor Emanuele Anati, this Italian was the chairman of the International Rock Art Committee. He has been to Tanzania. He was here in 1983 to conduct research, and most of the thing I'm reading is from his research. So Professor Anati, the rock art provides one of the longest uninterrupted chronological sequence of artistic creativity in the world, according to this gentleman. I hope our friends in the Tanzania Department of Antiquities are aware about this. But if wood has contributed to our understanding of men's ways of thinking, his intellectual achievements, the imaginative world and cultural changes which took place in the societies of Eastern Africa during the last 40,000 years, is wood still significant in the development of the artistic spirit? Yes, you see the answer, there are people outside using wood to create artwork. The spirit is still alive, and it can be traced back and relate to present-day populations. In Tanzania, for example, the Makonde are often associated with their wood sculpture. They migrated into Tanzania in the early 1930s. They came from the south, and there's the map showing there's a river in the middle. There's a great Rovuma River. This is Mueda Plateau. The Arabs couldn't reach that plateau, so the culture of these people was not affected. And that's why up to now Makonde sculpture reflects the mythological, religious beliefs and rituals existing in that society. These people lived in a very inaccessible place. But due to hardships, they came down and crossed the river to Tanzania. They settled here. Sisal estates, the Germans were very keen in developing Sisal estates. They wanted labor. That's during the colonial time. And during independence, things changed quite a bit. So, according to Kingdon, modern Makonde sculpture emerged in Tanzania in the early 1930s and was first patronized by the colonial governor, Sir Harold McMichael. He issued circulars to government departments in Tanga, Port area, Dar es Salaam. Please ask Makonde carvers to display their sculptures so that visitors from overseas can buy them. That's a long time ago. But the work of those people you see outside was recognized a long time ago. And we have masters. Only one is still living. The founders of Makonde sculpture styles. We start with Yakobo Sangwani. He died some 5 years ago. Samaki Likankoa, died about 10 years ago. Clement Singala is outside. Anu Amando died some 10 years ago. Now, these people really made use of the African blackwood, and most of us don't call it ebony. It's African blackwood. Our experts call it Dalbergia melanoxylon. Melanin, we know that. And this wood was available in Mozambique. It is available in Tanzania. It is restricted. You can hardly buy blackwood nowadays. It's restricted. Maybe because many people like it for piano manufacturing, I don't know, to make the keys. So we are told that the first style started in Mozambique. They call it binadamu. The style you see here is called ujamaa. It's very common. The person who developed it was Yakobo Sangwani, a migrant Makonde who came to Dar es Salaam, and this was developed in the 1960s. A cluster of figures, sometimes they call it. There's Samaki Likanko, the person who started the Shetani style. The Shetani style is very popular all over the world, and it's outside. For those who like, for people who like wood sculpture, we remember this man, Samaki Likanko, the founder of the Shetani figure. Anu Amando was a very creative fellow. He never cared much about rituals being practiced in his own ethnic group. He was very inventive. He was only interested in concepts. What happens when you are alone in the forest? How do you express that fear when your hair moves up? He was a very creative person, so most of his work should be understood in that way. Kimbulumbulu. This is a person with unpredictable behavior. How do you paint a person? How do you sculpt a person with unpredictable behavior? So Maundu did that, this one over here. And Maundu again brought the Mandandosa. He believed that the Mandandosa were spies. He believed that there were people who took the lives of other people through some very treacherous means. The Tanzanians call these people Sekolah, enslaved people who are being used for some sinister purposes. So Mandandosa figure by Anu Amando, 1992, that is black wood. Brown wood, which is now very common, is a result of government restriction of the use of mpingo. So many gifted sculptors, like this man, is outside. George Lugwanda is outside. 5 minutes, thank you. So we can see that that gentleman is a great collector. Germany and Japan are the leading collectors of Makonde wood sculpture from Tanzania. In conclusion, we are saying our friends in Tildo, that is, this is rock art from Europe. I put it here to show you that the rock art in Europe didn't show human beings for things that are not clear. Only the African cave art or rock art depicted figures. TIDO, Tanzania Industrial Research Organization, should conduct research on that particular color from that wood, so that the world knows why that tree could produce color that was weatherproof. 40,000 years is a very long time. You can't paint your house and leave it for 40,000 years without repainting it. Thank you very much.